found them while I was going for a run over the summer. I just saw them on the street, like free wood. Hey everyone, my name is Liv and welcome to the Leopard Lodge, a new channel dedicated to creative pursuits in the home. I currently live in a 580 square foot apartment in Oakland, California with my partner. We've been in this apartment for 8 years, which means we've had a lot of time to decorate and redecorate and buy furniture and sell furniture. I've been gearing up to start this channel for a while, and one of the first things that I knew I needed to do was redo my kitchen because I hated the way it looked, especially as a person who cares a lot about rooms and decor, and I knew I wanted to have a cooking element to the show, which meant that I needed to fix my kitchen, which meant that I needed to film it. When I started filming my kitchen redo, I had no idea what I was doing. I was just excited and I was jumping in, and I filmed a lot of it vertically, or forgot to shoot things, or accidentally deleted footage, or thought I was shooting stuff when I wasn't. So I'm sure some of these shots are gonna look a little bit weird. The reason that I put off painting the walls for so long is because I always wanted to move, and painting it would mean spending some money and putting it out of commission for several days. The first thing I did was I patched up a hole in my ceiling that had been there for a while. We have a big, gaping, weird, creepy hole in the ceiling that used to leak, except that my landlord fixed my upstairs neighbor's roof, and now it doesn't really leak anymore. But it didn't stop leaking when my neighbor spilled beer on the kitchen floor and it came down the ceiling. So that was fun. A couple of years prior, I had put up a peel and stick wallpaper backsplash and painted the cabinets peach in hopes of trying to complement the pink undertones of the marble countertops. We had done a lot of DIYs to the space as younger people, and I definitely felt like some of them needed an upgrade. We had a water heater in the middle of our kitchen that was truly the bane of my existence, and I knew it would be in the way if I was filming and was determined to cover it. So before I got to work on the kitchen, I made a little bit of a vision board plan. I used Milanote, a very handy tool. I wanted to create a kind of arched room divider with cane webbing. I created this board to put all of my dreams and ideas into one place, including products I hope to get, and even wanted to replace the ceiling light with a fan. I started off by getting to work closing up the ceiling hole with joint compound, which took several passes with 24-hour dry times in between. This is really just a cosmetic repair. If you want to prevent water damage, you probably need to do a bunch of other stuff. Disclaimer, you don't know anything about fixing leaky ceilings. And then that needed to be sanded down. It got pretty messy. And then I got to work just painting the walls a nice creamy white. It's called Bavarian Cream by Benjamin Moore. I painted the kitchen in 3 sections so that I didn't have to completely put my kitchen out of use for a long period of time, even though it kind of wound up happening anyway. Yes, I do still have paint in my hair. I did shower last night, but I was like, what's the point of washing my hair if I'm just gonna be doing more stuff tomorrow? It was just kind of a chaotic mess for a week, and my partner wound up getting kind of annoyed with me, but it had to be done. Couldn't go back at that point. I kept the cabinets peach with the floral backsplash. To make a new counter that would sit between my stove and my water heater, I used some wood that I had found on the side of the street over the summer. Reduce, reuse, recycle. You know, I'm gonna give them the sand because the wood is pretty dark. Very important to cover your eyes and your mouth and nose so as not to get sawdust in those places. I gave it a quick sand and then cut it to my needed specifications. Then I primed it and painted it the same color as my cabinets, Perfect Peach by Benjamin Moore. I have a short board here. It is going to go like this, and then I can screw that into the studs of the wall, and then put this kind of under midway through so that it's a support. After assembling it, I covered my screws with wood filler, let it dry, and then sanded it and finished painting the top. I originally had this whole grand plan to do this water heater cover that was gonna involve like cutouts and cane webbing and arches and beautiful things. But then yesterday I went to this place called Urbanor that's in Berkeley, and I found these old closet doors, and I'm just going to put them on a hinge. Hinges, more complicated than you think. I quickly realized that I was doing this wrong. You actually need to do it on the inside and leave a little gap for the hinge part to sit in, and then it will close. And then we are gonna have a water heater cover. Last thing I wound up doing was replacing the top of the bar over our trash cans that also held our sheet trays and our cast irons and various things. We built it out of pallets when we were much younger, and I ended up adding some shelves to it, but the things I added to it were kind of half-assed. We were young, we didn't have a lot of money, we didn't have jobs, like that's what we did. I wanted to rebuild the whole thing, but I couldn't afford to buy more wood. But I had enough wood left over from the counter to make at least a new top for it. So I just went in and I popped the old top off, which actually wasn't that easy because Tom had put in like 14,000 screws. I don't know why there were so many screws in there, but it took me a really long time to get it out. I wanted to swap out the brackets on the shelves above the bar with something that would allow me to put taller things under them. I had a bunch of very basic enamel-coated metal ones laying around, so I decided to give them a little facelift with some gold spray paint. I did the same to the rack that housed the cooking utensils above my stove that we had made out of copper pipe years earlier. Then it was just a matter of putting the kitchen back together, and I'm a little bit losing my mind right now because I was in the middle of putting the kitchen back together, putting up my new brackets, and my drill died. I'm pretty sure that if I don't get this kitchen back together, Tom is going to leave me. But we got through it. Luckily, I was able to walk over to a friend's house and borrow their drill so I can put the kitchen back. Eventually, after like 4 days, I was finally able to put my kitchen back into a usable state. I did one more very simple DIY for this space, which was creating a custom chalkboard so I could have a space to write out recipe ideas and grocery lists in a convenient place. I found a nice size photo frame from a thrift store for $5 and disassembled it. I painted the cardboard backing with a few coats of black paint, but you could easily use another color if you wanted. I painted the frame a shade of green that complemented the other aspects of my kitchen, gave the glass a good clean, and simply reassembled the frame. I bought some chalk markers in this fun pink terracotta palette, which wipe off the glass easily. I finished this off with a little cup to hold my markers that I painted the same color as the frame. I glued this on with E6000 glue. I had this whole plan to totally transform my kitchen. I got most of the way through. I didn't get everything done, but we just got some new news and we moved. I am in fact now in a totally different place, and there will be some updates on that soon with a little tour, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. But let's get back to this kitchen transformation. Before I show you my finished kitchen, let's remember what it looked like before. Okay, here's the final product. Sort of. I think it's a great example of how tweaking a few things can totally change a space and make it feel so much better. I got a wheeled cart from IKEA called the Raskog to hold my overflow spices and various other things, which fit perfectly under the counter. I added my crochet curtain back to the water heater to block off the third side from showing, which was maybe a little weird, but it was better than looking at the water heater. All in all, when I packed up this kitchen, I was pretty sad because I had put so much work into it and spent so much time cooking in this kitchen, dreaming of changing the kitchen, and it worked out really great for a little while. But ultimately, I am super grateful for our new home, which I can't wait to share with you. So stay tuned, because that's coming up at the Leopard Lodge.